Hey good people, welcome back to Monique's Book List. This is part 2 to my wrap-up of Romance Overload. Okay, so in the first video we covered the things I learned about myself while doing this, the books I didn't like, surprising books, and all that good stuff. We're gonna talk about the good stuff now. Now, I got a lot of notes because it was good stuff, okay? So I'm going to tell you my 3 favorite books, and it's a lot, and I've given myself enough time to really talk about these books because I really like them. All right, so again, I'm gonna go from I'm gonna save my favorite for last, which is technically a tie. We'll talk about it. All right, so starting with the one I liked, but it wasn't my favorite. It's a book called Ready, Set, Love. And this book is by, who is it by? Asia Monique. And this book, you have the 2 main characters in this book are, let me see, where did I put their names? I don't remember the names because I read a lot of books. I read 31 books, and it is a lot. It is a lot. Isabel and Carter. Isabel and Carter own physical therapy centers, and you're coming into the story where they're about to open their 2nd location, and Isabel is also dealing with the breakup. And Isabel and Carter are childhood friends. They're childhood friends so much that they've seen each other naked. They have, went to high school together, went to prom together, technically, not like as dates, but as like in a friend group. So they know each other very well. And Isabel's coming off a breakup with someone else who told her some bullshit about, oh, if you can't love you don't love yourself, so I can't love you. I hate when people say that. Like, if you see someone is struggling with self-love, don't tell them like, well, I can't love you because you don't love you. First of all, and also when people say, if you don't love yourself, who is going to love you? Well, hopefully the people who actually tell me that they love me are loving me, like my mother, my father, all of my loved ones. And while they're loving me, hopefully I can see the good in me through them and start loving myself. So please don't tell people that. That shit is like another layer of, look, you fucking up love. I just hate it when people say that. Anyway, back to the book. So her ex-boyfriend tells her this, and Carter knows like it's some bullshit. He clearly wants to date someone else, but he has to make you the bad guy in this so he can feel good about leaving. And so she's really down and out by this. And she has another female friend. And she's like, her female friend's like, why are you not dating Carter? Like, you guys clearly love each other. Just make that happen. And Carter does love her. And that's why he's kind of like just hung around and dealt with, he hasn't hung around. He's been dating too and stuff like that. But they clearly have issues about why they're not together. So eventually they do get together. It's a sweet friends to lover story. Really sweet. It's not a very long story. I don't know the page count, but I know it's less than 100 pages. And yeah, so it's really cute. I love it. Again, that's Ready, Set, Love. Now, technically, I'm gonna say that my favorite book is technically 4 books, but when it's a technicality because the one that would be my 2nd favorite book is actually a series of books, shorts or novellas, and it's called the Hell Sisters series, and there's 3 books. There is Sweetheart, and that is the story of Joey and Shane, and then there's Locked Heart, and that is the story of Reggie and Crew, and then there is Loyal Heart, and that is the story of Logan and Reed. So technically, I would say I love this book or enjoyed this book as much as I enjoyed the first one, but because the first one is a standalone, it is technically a standalone, I will save it as my favorite. So let me tell you about the Hell Sisters. First and foremost, they all have boy names because their father wanted 3 sons. He wanted boys, and he thought after, every time his wife would get pregnant, he would hope it was a boy. So in like defiance and in just like, I'm going to have something male in my house, he named all of his daughters by male names. There's Logan, who's the oldest. There's Reginald, not Regina, Reginald, who's the second. And then there's Joseph, who is the youngest. Yes, 3 young ladies with very male names, maybe not so much Logan, but definitely Reginald and Joseph. So you meet these ladies through these stories, and there's one overarching story, and it is Logan and her husband Reed. They're going through some stuff, and of course, it kind of comes to a conclusion in Loyal Heart, where you find out why they're going through this. So I'm gonna be honest with you, Loyal Heart is actually my least favorite out of the series. I felt like the reason why she was so upset and the reason why there was so much angst in their relationship was kind of I knew what it was immediately in the first book. I knew. But like the fact that it came true, I was just like, you drew this out for all these books for it to be this? Come on, my friend, come on. And these books are by my new favorite author, Ashley Nicole. So Loyal Heart is my least favorite, but I would say equally Locked Heart and Sweetheart are probably these books. Loyal Heart had me laughing too, but Sweetheart and Locked Heart, when I tell you there were some one-liners in these books that are so funny. So the first book, of course, is Sweetheart, and this is Joey and Shane. Joey is, for lack of a better word, she's a tomboy. She's into construction. Also, the overarching theme about this book is that these 3 sisters work for their father's construction company. Joey is under construction, Reggie is the architect, and then Logan just runs the office. So these girls are hilarious. One of the things they do is I love how they talk, because this is how I talk with my friends, and this is how I talk with my sister. It's just a lot of like grownness, and just sometimes just we gross sometimes. And I don't mean gross like boogers. I mean gross like, girl, come on, you should be ashamed of yourself out here talking like that. But anyway, like I just love it. So again, Joey and Shane, they meet each other because Joey is going to start construction on Shane's house. He shows up late. They get into an argument. The story goes on from there. It is quite interesting. I like it. I think it's very funny. I think Joey is the funniest character of the 3 ladies, and she is quite interesting. And then the next book, of course, is Locked Heart, and that is Reggie and Crew. Reggie and Crew are childhood friends also. Crew goes off to college and goes on with his life. Reggie stays there. She gets married. Her first husband passes away, and then her second husband is kind of a dick. And so you just kind of find, like, you kind of come in a story where Crew's coming back into town, and you just pick up with this friendship moving into love, and it's just a lot of good stuff. It's very funny. And of course, last, Logan and Reed. Logan and Reed have been married for a very long time. Reed has been in the Hale sisters' life for a very long time. I think they were high school sweethearts, Logan and Reed. And there's an issue. There's something going on that is driving Logan away from her husband. She's pushing him away, and you kind of find out why. And again, I find the reason to be very ludicrous, but that is just my opinion. But with that being said, again, Ashley Nicole, her writing is amazing. These are 3 stories about, stories about sisters and just grownness and Black love, all of it. And it's all on Kindle Unlimited if you're looking for a good little short stories to read and by an amazing author. Ashley Nicole is your lady. So I would say get at her, okay? All right, so last but not least, my favorite book, drum roll, is Can't Escape Love, and this is by Alicia Cole. Now, in this story, you meet Regina and you meet Gustav. I keep calling him Gustav. I don't think that's his name. She calls him Gus in the book, so I'm gonna call him Gus. So you meet Gus and you meet Regina, and they meet because I'm going to say he has this pod. He's not really a podcast. It's kind of like a video where he would just talk about problems. Sometimes they'd be word problems. Sometimes they'd be puzzles. They would just be he would just do problem solving. And Regina, she found his channel because when she found his channel, she liked his voice. And when he stopped doing the videos, she used them to help her go to sleep, because she has her brain would just keep going on and on and on, because she's a extremely busy person. She created a geek website about all comic books and about fantasy TV shows, sci-fi shows, and she's just if she was a real person, I would try to be her friend. I would really I'm just trying to hang. So Regina actually is also she has a disability. She's in a wheelchair. She had a brain. She had a bacteria that attacked her brain, and it caused her to have really bad issues with balancing. So she's basically in a wheelchair most of the time. And so it's hard for her to date and stuff like that. Not because people are put off by the wheelchair, it's that she finds that people try to take care of her too much and discount her as a capable human. So she's really cool. I like her. I like this book very much. I think Alyssa Cole did really well writing this novella, and this is ties into, I think, one of her other books called A Duke by Default. The sister in that, the girl, the main character in that is the twin to Regina. So that's it. I love that part too. And I read that book too. I don't remember much about it because I read it, I think, early last year. I don't remember. The things I liked about the story was that Gus was just a very understanding person, but he also knew how to say, okay, look, you being just a little bit much. Now, I know you like getting your way, but you're being a little bit much right now. And also he just knew how to now, I don't want to say the word deal, because deal means you're putting up with something, but I think the way he was able to understand, and I don't even want to say handle, because it still sounds like she's a problem, but for lack of a better word, deal or handle Regina. The other things I liked about the story was that the fact that there were so many comic book references. So if you're not a comic book head like me, maybe you might not like that, but I loved it. So yes, I think that's it. Those are all my favorite. A few side notes just quickly. I noticed that these books, there were a lot of versions in these, not in these three books, or the books I'm talking about now. I mean, in the 31 books I read, I noticed there were a lot of virgins, and there were huge age differences. The girls were never older than 25, and the dudes were never younger than 35. Oh, sorry, 30. I found that really weird. I found it really weird that there was that huge difference. But that wasn't I will be honest, that wasn't a specific type of author's book. I noticed that all the authors who happened to be Black, there was no huge age difference. There was kind of the same age difference. I mean, same age range. It wasn't a huge difference. I don't know. I just noticed that there was a lot of virgins. There was a lot of virgins, and there was a huge age. I just found that odd. I found it odd. Also, I completely understand why people don't like romance. I mean, after reading it so much, I do agree it's formulaic. Insta love is weird. Yeah. And not really knowing someone sometimes before you engage into an intimate relationship with someone. Again, that's kind of off-putting. And yeah, I understand why people don't like that. But I argue, if you read fantasy books, there's insta love in fantasy books. There's insta love in other books. I think people have a hard time digesting it when it's in a book that's called romance. I notice it a lot. I notice that people I can't do that insta love, but you can do it in the fantasy book where the fairy and her male fairy fall in love. He sees her, or instead of saying, I'm not gonna get too deep in the woods with it, but I just find it. I find it that people don't mind instant love as long as it's not in a romance. Just saying. And I'm gonna end it because that's all I have to say about all these books. Again, 31 novellas under your girl's bed. I don't have anything under my bed. I'm tired. I have another video to record, so I'm gonna go. And until next time, bye.